Hello and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since we kicked out a video, but in the last one we were in Spanish Wells in the Bahamas and we took a ferry over to Eleuthera, did a lot of touring there for the day, rented a car, and then we headed over to Harbor Island, a nearby island, to tour that as well. Overall, it's a good time. I would recommend doing both. We saw some great sights. So in today's video, we leave the Bahamas and we head back to Florida. We enter at the St. Lucie Inlet and we hang out in Stuart, Florida for a couple days. Then we head on up to Vero Beach for the night and then on to our final destination, which is Daytona Beach. Meet up with some friends, hang out there, go to visit some other friends on the West Coast at Babcock Ranch, and then we haul out the boat for the hurricane season. Have you ever dreamed of selling it all and cruising into the sunset? Well, that's exactly what we did. It's no fun going it alone though, so why don't you join us for the ride? Here we are cruising back from the Bahamas toward Stuart, Florida, and accompanying us are our friends on NORCAT, Maurice and Renee from Canada, and our other Canadian friends, Josh and Karen, on Scout. We had a nice smooth day, so Maurice, a former airline pilot, was able to swing in real close so we could get some very nice shots. NORCAT's hull has a light gray wrap to it and it really looks beautiful. Luckily, we were all three able to get a mooring ball at Sunset Bay Marina in Stuart, Florida, a really nice marina. There's a nice coffee shop on site and of course laundry and shower facilities. And of course we're in Stuart, so we got to stop at Dune Dog. In the marina here in Stuart, there's a number of these little houseboats here. They're in nice shape. Seems like a pretty cost-effective way, like a camper on the water. Hang out here, you could walk to the center of town, lovely little town of Stuart. Looks like a pretty good idea. So we are leaving Sunset Bay Marina, very lovely marina in Stuart, Florida. And we are headed off to Vero Beach Municipal Marina. I think it's about 45 miles. Takes us about 4 or 5 hours on a slow cruise. We just stopped off at the fuel dock here. We don't need fuel, but it's reasonably priced at what, $3.99 a gallon plus tax for diesel. But we need a pump out. It's just easy, real close to the mooring field here, and we'll do that. Call the drawbridge. Get out of Dodge. The adjacent railroad bridge is pretty busy with the Brightline trains that go from Miami to Orlando. Unfortunately, along the way, it looks like somebody banged into this buoy, or day marker as we call it, on the Intercoastal. We've passed by this anchored racing trimaran before, and it always looked pretty spiffy. This time though, it looks like it might have gotten into some trouble. There's no mast on it, and it looks like some of the framework in the back was bent over. Not sure what happened. Vero Municipal Marina is one of our favorites. One of the reasons is Vero has a free bus line, and there are stops right in the marina. One of the new things we saw this year at an adjacent house to the marina was this little doggy library with sticks and stuff for your dogs as you're walking them by. Pretty interesting. Too bad the Pancake is not much of a fetcher. Leaving Vero Beach City Marina here. There's a dog park right there behind those boats, so it's convenient. And they allow rafting up on moorings here to a maximum of 3 boats. Not so much even that they allow it, they're designed that way. But if you come in and need a spot and they're all filled with 2 boats. They'll put you next to them, and you'll have 3 boats per mooring ball. So that's the way they do it here. But it's a very popular place, pretty well protected. We're headed up to Cocoa Village for the night. Gonna meet some friends. Got some pretty stiff winds behind us the whole way, which would be good because it's a nice tailwind. Should be a nice, comfortable ride. 4 hours if we go fast, 6 hours if we do a slow cruise. White caps on the Intercoastal on the way to Cocoa Village. The wind is behind us at 20 knots, so we get a nice little push, but it's a comfortable ride because we're not slamming into the waves created by the wind. Thankfully, the wind subsided by the next morning. Leaving Cocoa Village. At 7 a.m. headed up to Halifax Marina in Daytona. There's a little cut we have to pass through just north of Cape Canaveral called the Haulover Canal. It's absolutely teeming with manatee, so you have to go super slow through there. It looks like these ones were frolicking and maybe even breeding. See a nice big gator right there. Coming into New Smyrna. Big boat, nice boat. Once we got to the marina in Daytona, we got a nice greeting from some locals who wanted to give us a free hull cleaning.
When I go across.
Romeo.
Or if he sets it down and pee on it.
This is Romeo. Romeo, come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, come here.
There. That's my dad. Why are you playing with my dad? Go on, Dad. Go on.
We hung out for a little while with our good friend Sharon and then headed off to the west coast near Fort Myers to hang out at a place called Babcock Ranch with our friends Denise and Seth. Cakes, what do you think of this Babcock Ranch? No comment. Needs more treats. At least the Cakes got another play date with Domino. So Babcock Ranch is a master planned community built on part of a former ranch that has thousands of acres. So Seth and Denise took us on an echo tour at the adjacent ranch.
Come this way.
Let me take you on a tour.
The ranch has a nice little visitor center, and then you jump on board a converted bus for the tour of the grounds.
Amazing. That's as good as a sandhill. Like I told these guys, Matt, you recognize it? Now, Mr. McAnoo, he was a Montana gold miner, so I can only imagine he didn't find a lot of gold here in South Florida. Mr. Babcock, he was a Pennsylvania timberman. Now these does and their fawns, now they're just beginning to lose their spots. And take note of those spots when that animal.
The ranch is also home to a huge solar array that helps power the Babcock community.
Of its name, this is the Telegraph Swan. Now see here, this is their office, and now these lines ultimately wind up in Havana, Cuba. So this was their office. Now today, get as much corn out there as you can. Dump that whole bucket.
Oh my God.
Now that, folks, is a sorrel of swine. These are our Vero hogs, young males, and sows. If there were an adult boar in there, he would have.
Yeah, there's some big ones out there.
This is the deepest part here on the swamp, here on the ranch. So as this dries up here in the dry season, this will be the last of the water. And I just
Years of their lives, they're very accustomed to humans. So when this animal becomes full grown, potentially 14 feet long, he's ideal for the breeding program. So these guys go back, they get raised for the breeding program. And now his grandchildren, or his children, will become gator bites and luggage. But he's going to live a long life of about 70 years. Isn't it? About 70 years an alligator will live.
We have a number of close friends in the Daytona, Smyrna area, so it was great to catch up and spend some time with them, and we even had some visitors. We also stopped at one of our favorite places called Jerry's Tiki Bar in Ponce Inlet to listen to one of our favorite bands, Our Friends Electric.
Shallow now.
We were also able to take a quick getaway to St. Augustine. But it's never all play and no work on island time. So this middle window here, it pivots up and opens to let airflow in. Problem is, it's probably a poor design, so it leaks all around. We get salt water in here sometime, and I constantly have to deal with it. So we're going to talk to some company about replacing this center thing. So I have to figure out what the measurements are for the existing opening so that they can kind of match up to the old window, make sure the right tint or the existing tint on the windows matches the new one that they'll create, the outside fits in, and so forth. So what I'm doing is removing this inside trim ring here that was screwed in, but it's probably been in there for 15 years, and it's kind of sticking to all of this fabric here, foam base vinyl, foam back vinyl I should say. So I'm just using a plastic putty knife to kind of come all the way around and break the seal. I've almost got it all the way off here. I'm gonna go real slow, trying not to rip into this because I don't want to have to replace this whole damn thing. It would be pretty ugly. But that's this project at hand. So when I get it off, then I gotta measure it. Measure twice, order once. Or should I say, measure 20 times, order once. So, I was cleaning out the air conditioning strainer, which is right over here. And there's a through hole, and it takes seawater to used to cool the coolant for the air conditioner or the refrigerant. And on my way back stepping up, I stepped on the top of the engine here and noticed, hard to see, but there's a little oil here. And as you can see, there's 2 clamps there, a third clamp. One of the clamps had broken off, which is right there, so I have to replace that clamp. If I didn't get oil on the bottom of my shoe when I stepped up here, I probably wouldn't have noticed it. So lucked out there. I do have a spare clamp, so we'll throw it on there, hopefully be good to go. I'm not 100% sure where this is coming from here. It's not the heat exchanger. I don't know what this unit is, but there's definitely black oil going through it, so gotta fix that. All right, that's enough work. Let's go out my friend Jay's boat, hit up a sandbar party. Nobody does a sandbar party like Florida does. Even the cake sees something she likes. One of us got a bit too much sun. So remember I told you about that turtle that was cleaning off our hull? Well, that was a little bit of foreshadowing. So after a month and a half in Daytona, we decided to take the boat down to Port Canaveral to put it in storage for hurricane season. On the way though, I could only do 7.3 knots, where normally I could probably max out at around 15 or 16. Something was definitely wrong. I hadn't cleaned the bottom of the boat for 2 months since we got back from the Bahamas, figuring that when they hauled it out they would power wash it and I wouldn't need to. Well, I definitely waited too long. The entire hull was encrusted with barnacles, and even the rudder and propeller had all kind of growth on them, which is the whole reason why I had trouble steering and going as fast as I wanted to. Yes, it should have been cleaned and scraped. However, the real reason probably was that this paint, which is called ablative paint, is supposed to shed over time and shed the growth with it, was about 2 years old, and I was definitely ready for new paint. So new bottom paint is going to be in my future. Big lesson learned here though, if you don't have a clean bottom and clean running gear, it's definitely going to affect the performance of your boat. So we obviously hauled the boat and took a break this summer, but in September we went to Europe, and we're going to kick out some videos soon of that trip. A little bit of a departure for us, but we hope you'll like them.